So there are some limitations to it, but, on the other hand, you didn't. You need not to create a. So we will learn in the next class that we will create an XSLT custom style sheet to transform the XML into CSV. So CSV, that approach is more preferred and scalable because you need not have any migration options, but you have to maintain an external accessibility. In that case, so some clients or some customers while implementing or while going normally, kind of as a review process. Some people prefer this kind of a way wherein you try to avoid the external accessibility if something is achievable by Workday default methodologies. Or some people say that don't go by this, because this create migration issues, so rather go by XSLT. So that depends, but whatever you have options, you can go accordingly. So I have just configured it now and let's see how it works for us. So we'll go now and run our integration. Keep the default file name OK. Just refresh here now. So let's discuss the dynamic sequence generation and the notifications. So as I told you that you can have a dynamic file generated. Currently, our file is generated on a constant basis. Same file, but we want to make our file dynamic, so how can you do that? So the EIP does not have inbuilt functionality to have the configuration done, but it allows you to create the definition outside and then use it in the ID. So how do you do that? So there's a task for that you do create. Sequence. So you just type this task, create sequence. And you choose Create ID Definition Sequence Generator. Create ID Definition Sequence Generator. So you give the sequence generator a good name, so you can use it. You can include your integration number with this if this is a real-time case. Sequence Gen. So you can give it a name. So only important things. I'll tell you about what is. So this is increment by ID by. So by how much count you? You want to increment your every next run? So that will be your incrementation that you want to do. Then there comes the most important formation of the field, which is your sequence ID format, which is you are going to configure, which will decide how much unique your file would be. What will be the unique characters in it? What will be the constant? What will be the dynamic characters? So there is a limitation here. You can have the dynamicity included only for the date-time fields and the sequence which is there. So if you see in this, so it is like if you hover over, every time, it will be giving you this. So whenever you configure, it will always allow you to have this configuration done. But you can also take a screenshot so that you don't have to wait every time here and then come again and come go. You can take a screenshot while configuring and then, because there is this sequence, ID format is case sensitive. So small m will mean something else, capital M will mean something else. Small d will mean something else, capital D will mean something else. So, and they have given the examples as well that what you need to do. So, first of all, take constants and variables. So whatever is constant, you just write it as this is. But whatever things you want to make it dynamic, and which things are allowed by this sequence editor. Those has to be in the square braces open and close. Each element has to be in the square braces open and close. Anything outside these square braces will be considered as constant. This is my constant part, and then I'm kind of having an underscore after that, which is also a constant. Now I want to append a date to my sequence generator so that every time my sequence is generated, let's say my sequence is daily. So every time my file will be generated with a date of that particular day when the integration is running, and then the sequence as well will be attached. What is the sequence? So I want to include date. You can also include date timestamp as well. If your file is running more than a day, then you can also include date timestamp. That also is dynamic. So in that case, a particular hour when your sequence was generated, you will be given the date as well. So, first of all, for date, year and day, I will include 3 braces, open, close, open, close. And if I want to separate it? So let's say, if I want to separate my date with a hyphen, I can do that. So I have includes. So hyphen will be constant because it is outside the braces. So now, if I hover over here again, let's say I want to represent my date in year, month, and day format. So if you go for the year in the last section after the 4, you will have year, so year format. They have given that if you include 4 times small y, it will be represented like 2022. If you keep 2 times small y, then it will be like in the 2 digits of the year, 22, 23, 24, whatever you. So let's say we require complete date. So I'll keep small y then for the month. For month. If you go below down, you see triple M, capital M. It will represent the month as Sep. September, October, J, and January, 3 digits, with the alpha numbers. If you want to represent your month in numeric format, then you can do capital M, but only 2 M's. That will be considered as 0. 9, 1, 2, so on, and if you just write M, it will be represented in just one letter. So 9, of course, with the month, which are having 1 letter. So I want to make it triple M, I want completely. And then you go to last one for your date. So date is a little careful to be watched upon. So if you do small d, and small d will give you the number of the date, that means 21. If you give a small e inside, then you will be given the date. That means when the file was run, whether it was a Wednesday when it was running, when it was a Fridays, that kind of a day. And when you use capital D, it will give you the day of the year, which day of the year it is, 264, up until 365, whatever number of days we have. So the small d will give you number in a month, e will give you the kind of a day, and the capital D will give you the day in a year. So I want day in a month, so I'll keep it as DD. Now, if this is your date. If you want timestamp as well, then for timestamp we have different options. Hours is K, H is for our minutes, M, 23 seconds, milliseconds, and so on. Now, if you see, go to the middle line for the sequence number. So for the sequence number, what is the sequence then? For the sequence, you can do seq in the square basis. It will work as a code. Seq, you can write capital. I think previously it was allowed only a capital seq, but now they have also made it flexible to write without the capital seq, so both will work in the same way. So now I have a constant underscore after this, and then I will want to append the sequence, so I'll just write seq. So to check how your file name would look like, you can just come out of this, give it a tab. And in the example sequence you will be able to see how your file name will look like already, given the current circumstances. If I just come out from this in the example sequence, I'll already be given an output that this is my constant part, and then, after the underscore, my date is starting. So date, what is going on? Current month and the day of the month, and then the starting sequence 0. So here, your last sequence used is 0, so it is coming 0. If I say my last sequence used was 1 already, then my sequence will start by day, and this is my sequence increment. If I just say that, increment by sequence by 1, so going to keep incrementing my sequence by 1 for the next files. So any confusion on this? It's pretty easy and configurable. You can just easily do it if you want to achieve the dynamic file name for you. So after creation, you just click OK. Once you have configured it, and now maybe you can just copy it, although the copy will entirely not work, and you will know why. So just copy the sequence. You can copy this and now go to your integration system. We'll go and configure our integration system again with the enterprise interface. Edit. And now I'll go to Get Data.